One of the biggest struggles I faced when I first was starting to go down this path in business and really focus on growing my clientele was how to do it effectively. And I think a lot of us hit this wall, right? We try a ton of different things. Some of them work, some of them don't. Rarely does something work really well and really consistently in terms of bringing in the revenue. And it took me years until I finally stumbled onto something that would consistently get me good, solid clients, strong relationships that would last for a long, long time. And it was also, no surprise, one of the hardest shifts I've ever made in my business. And that shift was to stop trying to sell people, although that's the end goal, right? We only make money when we bring clients in. Stop trying to sell and just show up every day and serve whoever's in front of me. Serve whoever it is, whether they're a client now, might be in the future, or somebody that I'm pretty sure will never, ever work with me, to give equally to all of them. It sounds like a great idea, right? I mean, how fun would that be if we could just do that every day, to show up and serve, except that, at least in my mind in the beginning, that sounded great. I just had no idea how I was possibly expected to make money at this. And with a family to feed, a mortgage to pay, and other bills that are coming in, we've got to find that balance, right? Between serving others, as fun as that would be, and actually bringing in some kind of income. And that right there is what stops most of us from really taking this to heart. And if you follow my path, what happened was I loved this idea of service. I loved this idea of just showing up and helping, but it took the form of kind of more of a trading mentality that I had. I literally kept a little sheet where I'd keep track of everybody who I'd done something for that I thought was a prospect or potential client, what I'd done for them, and I would always make sure that nobody went too long without hearing from me and getting some kind of service from me, and at the same time always keeping track of who's giving back. And if I wasn't getting a return on that investment of service I was making with a prospect or a client, then I would cut them off and I'd simply stop showing up and serving them. So while I considered this service, really what I was doing was a marketing scheme that had service plastered or glued onto the front of it. They're not really coming from that place. And making that final shift to where if we can do it, just showing up and just helping whoever's there every day, God, the returns are amazing. This is usually one of the first places once I have a client who's ready to start doing this, where we've worked through, are we worth it and are valuable, anything else, any other barriers that are holding this person back. Service is the key marketing system that we always get to. And looking at everything we do, does it help somebody or doesn't it? And when we start living from that place, what's so funny is you might serve somebody over here and then someone else randomly just calls you up and wants to give you business. I had this happen with the client just last week where we were working on a relationship in his life that wasn't quite working out. How can we show up and do better in that place? And he did, really served this person. And the very next day got a phone call and a referral from a client who he hadn't spoken to in some time. Hey, it just starts to balance out. It feels very strange at first. It's a very scary approach to take, to just show up and serve people. It's also the most successful thing I've ever tried myself and I've ever seen happen for my clients, but it's got to start from the inside. Who can you help today? What could you do that would really serve somebody, even if you have no idea if it'll ever come back to you? Even better if we're sure this person would never do business with us, it will never come back to us. Show up, serve those people, do it day in and day out. It's not a get rich quick. It's not going to turn around immediately because we're not looking to do something for somebody else and then get business back, which is how most of us approach. It is simply becoming a person that's always in service. And what happens then is people start to see you as that. People want to do business with someone who shows up like that, and pretty soon you've got more business than you know what to do with.